Today, I will be reviewing 𝐶𝐤𝐭𝐤𝐫's recent Gacha clip movie. I traveled into the giant world and tell you if it's good or no good. Let's get started. By the way, if you are new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. I am 𝐼𝐸𝐞𝐞, and before getting into the juicy meat of things, let us first take the board of checklist, or more like the layout of the video and its chapters. I will firstly make a summary of the story just to give you an overall idea of what the movie is like if you haven't seen it. Then is the actual rant, where I'll tell you if this motherfucking movie 1 hour is good or not. Then our suggestions, what needs to be improved, what should be changed, and whatever else. And finally, the conclusion with an overall rating of the story. I hope you're all ready because oh boy, this will be long. And to those who have already seen it, you can skip to the rant section I guess, but please don't because it's views and I'm funny, I swear. The story starts with our main character named 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 who wakes up in the woods alone. Not knowing how it happened, she presumes the whole situation is a dream, and after testing out the perimeter, she feels earthquakes and gets knocked out as giants appear towering over her. They grab her up, pause, and 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 starts to wonder if all of this is a dream. Understandable. By the way, they keep calling the little ones humans, so how do they call themselves? Giants? Okay. They had recently caught 5,000 of them, so I'm not sure why they don't keep at least 15 or more in the same cell. I mean, where is everyone else? We're 5 in here. By the way, she is still wondering why she can't wake up. I mean, the delusion is real at this point, like, use your head, dude. At this right moment, a little creature comes up from her person, named 𝐞. 𝐞 is 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵's guardian angel who helped her in her daily life. She's the only one to have that, by the way. Who knows why? I don't fucking know. She's special, I guess. But why? Who the fuck knows? From there, we learn 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 from her youngest age has always been emotionless. Do you know what this face means? You'll get it later if you didn't already. She was discriminated against because she seemed faceless at all times, no one wanted to be around her and she didn't understand any emotion, and on the other hand, she does want to understand why she doesn't understand emotions, which is 𝐞's purpose to teach her and yada yada. By the way, she clearly insists on the fact she feels nothing. That's going to be important in like 2 minutes. 4 days pass, I hope she realized this is not a dream. I pray you're not this stupid, right? Right. And in the meantime, 𝐞 has been wandering around the whole place and gather info since she's basically a spirit, a ghost. She passes through walls and no one can see her. She also has the power to make people sleep. Cool. Before 𝐞 returns, 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 thinks to herself her parents must be worried sick. That's also going to be important later. 𝐞 tells us this place is a kingdom called Hetra, ruled by a tyrant, if you didn't realize already, is our male lead. We learn he kills for fun, beheads people, and is just an overall psychopath, so they make a plan to leave the next day. The day in question, before 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 gets eaten alive, 𝐞 uses her powers, which cannot work on the same person twice, and knocks his shit out. They run for their lives, pretty smartly by the way, it's not like failing means death, you know. But before they get out, 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 meets our main lead, 𝐸ZRA, eating or killing someone, and I don't know, she just stops and starts rambling to herself. A prey could kill its predator type shit, you know, pretty dumb stuff. They make small talk, and he doesn't kill her right away because he can see 𝐞. Who knows how? I don't fucking know. By the way, how the hell did she get here? I don't fucking know. 𝐸ZRA asked why she doesn't run away, but 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 loses time asking why he would kill a human, and he says because he was going to kill him first. Just outstanding how she doesn't see the contradiction here. But sure, whatever, let's believe his words and turn our brains off. And 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐵 says she feels scared and feels bad, but 𝐸ZRA sees cut through her lies, meaning she is pretending, like she probably always has in her life. Cool information to bring in the way she did. After that, she leaves, but he follows her. They hide, but they get caught. They can't escape. They're back to the cell. She screams because of frustration. Huh, funny. Thought she was emotionless. I guess she is when it's convenient. He almost kills her. She notices in time and knows he was about to kill her. By the way, she still feels scared, which she shouldn't, but whatever. He has an existential crisis. He gets very interested in her. For some reason, she wants to absolutely hide she's not from his world. I don't know why that should be important. I mean, is she scared he'll kill her or something? Whatever, I guess. They decide to escape, and here I'll just cut through the important parts. I'm sorry that I like detailing everything. I get it, it's funny anyways, to be honest, but anyways. She tries to escape again, but he stops her because, and gets her as a pet. We also get his backstory, which I'll talk about later. Back to the palace, she elaborates a new plan to escape by getting closer to the tyrant. While walking, she meets 𝐸ZRA, who she thinks is a pet, and gets to know he can see 𝐞. How? I don't fucking know. And at the same time, 𝐸𝐵𝐿a discovers he is the tyrant because of this dude who I don't remember the name of, but it starts with K, so I'll just call him Carlos. I do not really care. Oh, and right after they kissed because she tripped on a rock and he leaned over to save her but fell with her, so yeah, that's kinda dumb. Of course he likes it. Then it's a time skip, which I believe is not a good decision at all. It smoothened and kinda removed the tension of the build-up the story had been building up until now, but I'll get into it later. She gets poisoned by a maid in love with Ezra. So surprising. He kills her, you know, cool stuff. By the way, she liked it. They're both psychopaths. They make a deal about stuff, and then they have a time skip over here. Jesus! She leaves. Why now? I don't fucking know. He starts killing because it's fun. Her parents have been dead. Also, they never cared about her, so why did she want to come back to them in the first place? Who knows? And she also doesn't care, so the purpose? A month passes and he teleports in her home because he can. They kiss and lots of babies. Oh? No babies? Well, that's a first. Well, I guess it's the end then. Wow. So, I can't be the only one profoundly disturbed by this, right? The summary has concluded. I don't know you guys, but this is already 2 full pages of script. I have a problem, I get it. But let's get on with the actual rant for the ones who have already seen the movie. The story's genre, if you didn't notice it already, is romance, and you know our opinions on that. It's very overused in this community, but that doesn't erase the stories to be good, let's be clear. The story starts strong, getting you immediately invested in its world and concepts. With the Giants and Q's existence, we're immediately met with a good goal of, you know, getting the fuck out, and it gets you interested to know more and why we fell down here while in the company of 𝐸𝐵𝐿a and Q. But after we, or more like 𝐸𝐵𝐿a, discovers that Ezra is the tyrant, it just kinda goes downhill from there. The goal stays the same, but we're not met with this tension to get out because he'll just never allow us to die anyways. We're practically royalty because he fell in love with her. And I think a big opportunity was lost in making the time skip right after the discovery. Not the time skip of 1 year because that one, Jesus. We could have made 𝐸𝐵𝐿a distrust Ezra because, you know, he lied to her despite her kindness. Shouldn't it be what should be on 𝐸𝐵𝐿a's mind? The fact he betrayed her? He locked Q away using some sort of god mystical power. Bro thought he was the mystical, super fantastic, bombastic ice princess or something. He was also about to kill her, by the way, and she knows it, but just ignores it. 𝐸𝐵𝐿a doesn't know shit about emotions. All her life, what I'm assuming, is that she has observed others and the distinct meanings of each emotion so she can discern it and replicate it. So her getting betrayed despite having done the morally good, as she keeps saying, shouldn't it be what should be constantly on her mind? It's all in all weird inconsistencies going around, the fact she just forgets everything. It also just becomes really predictable because the story disrupted the good tensional pace it had with that 1 year time skip. Jesus, I have never seen that ever. The pace was alright until all that, which is sad. A lot of opportunities missed. Getting into the world building, it's overall useless. We get to know we're in Hetra, a kingdom of giants ruled by a tyrant. We have little humans running around, a shit ton lot since they had retrieved 5,000 of them. I guess they had little villages or something to survive. I don't fucking know. They never told us and they just get swept like flies. By the way, how did we get here? It was never explained, it was never implied again. We just got fucking kidnapped by the world and no one bats an eye even after returning. Whatever, I guess. We get told things here and there like humans can be kept as pets and that there is, I don't know, a ritual to get on the other side or something. That was dumb, but the point simply remains that all of this is useless since it's never really expanded on. Why 𝐸𝐵𝐿a's the only one that has Q around, how Ezra can see her, his powers, a lot of whole shit that is just there for the convenience of the plot. It's just all around undeveloped grounds that could have made this story very interesting, which is probably the problem with 100% of Gacha Club mini movies. You really have to turn your brain off for things to happen, and that just makes everything shallow, bad, not interesting. So let's change that already, shall we? You know, it's cool information we're being fed, it's interesting, but it just never really goes past that. It's surface level, just doesn't engage me at all. Now, onto the characters, probably the juiciest part of all this. We are met with secondary characters such as Q, Farina, Carlos, and Marie, which unfortunately are all, you know, trash. Apart from Q, who is okay, they're not even developed, they're just there to be there. They're plot devices and that is never a good thing. I will tell you now, to me, characters in stories should be the most important parts of a story. It's what keeps it going, it's where twists happen, it's where entertainment is. They are very important, but the story just doesn't care. We happen to know Q is a sort of spirit, a guardian angel, which is supposed to guide Evola on the right path, and that she has sleeping powers. She can make anyone sleep for an hour and can pass through walls. So she's supposed to, arguably, be her mentor, an upper figure who Evola looks up to and goes to for guidance. But we just have a small instance of teaching from her, which was in the past, and she just ends up as a plot device to get out of bad situations. After they get out of the giant's world, her purpose is negativized minus 1,000. She's just useless now. She's a floating pile of nothing. Another opportunity missed on how she could have had a talk with Evola about 𝐻𝑧𝐬, which is supposed to bring back her feelings, right? Might have Evola sad about it, and she talks Evola through it. Something. She was really just a plot device for the first part with no real development, and then altogether useless in the second part. Pretty disappointing. On to Furina. I can't say much apart from the fact she's wasted potential yet again. Could have been Evola's first ever friend, as she was so kind with her, and she could have helped her more on whatever, but she was yet again restrained as a plot device, and at the end maybe even dead as a result of Ezra's rampage. Could have had a plot about that. Have Evola and Furina get close. Hell, even bring in Q. Let's give her an actual purpose. And at the end, Furina helps her get out, and Ezra kills her as a result of it, and Evola gets to know about it and is disgusted, shameful, devastated. Could have been actually her getting feelings and getting mad at who would be her only friend there, and a whole arc of Evola and Ezra having beef and reconciling at the end, because at the end of the day, it's a romance movie and that they're both crazy as shit. But yeah, just wasted potential. Useless, I would say. Marie was the typical rival to Evola, but not even really. She's in love with Ezra and poisoned Evola because she hates her and she gets killed for it. The purpose of her character? Make us realize these bitches are crazy as shit. So yeah, not much to say. Wasted potential yet again. And finally, Carlos, which I do not care. I will continue to call him that because he's not memorable enough to be called by his real name. He is... I don't even know what the fuck he did. I'm sorry, but he actually didn't do anything at all. I guess he made Ezra realize he is in love with Evola and told Evola he was the tyrant, but you know what it is. Wasted potential, nothing else to say. Moving on! Now, the main characters. Evola and Ezra. Two sides of the same coin, I would say. Both come from a discriminatory background. They're emotionless, and one can only be amused by killing, while the other focuses on changing herself. A good premise, but you know what it is. They got fouled! Ezra is a psychopath, just point blank. I guess he has a reason for doing the things he does, but liking killing is, you know, mental and not something we acquire by people gossiping about us. He gets interested on Evola because he sees she is the same as him. He can see through her pretend, and as time goes on and as they spend more time together, he starts to like her. Because she's the only one that's given him this type of treatment ever before, I guess. It was pretty vague the way he explained it, but I guess that's it. His development was okay. He gets these feelings and would do anything to continue living with them, and he also loves Evola, but I mean, with these types of stories, it's always the same thing. He's an asshole that can do whatever he wants and kill whoever he wants. He's extremely selfish, as he says even if Evola didn't love him back, he'd take her from her world and trap her in his world just so he could be with her. All in all, psychotic behavior, which is, I hope, everyone sees it already, a bombastic red flag. But of course, Evola matches his insanity, and we anyways don't care about it. Yes, there isn't particularly something wrong with him or his morals, but the execution of some major scenes was just not really well done. And everyone has no problems with him killing people, so that's fucking frustrating. He just has no problems. Oh my god, I can't get the right word out. Oh yeah! I got it. He's a fucking 𝐞𝐤𝐬. For those who don't know what a 𝐸𝐸𝐸 is, it's pretty much a perfect all-around character. Everybody praises them, they have no consequences and no flaw, and 𝐸𝐸𝐸 is its male version. They're particularly known to be fucking irritating and unsatisfying to the narrative because they're boring and have nothing to improve on, which is the exact problem here. Sure, you could say he was discriminated against and so on, so he has a real struggle and the answer to it is killing, only that it's not an answer to the struggle, it's because he likes it. I'm all for crazy characters, but the thing is, he's just boring. He's perfect, has no consequences, he's the tyrant, and at the end when he's faced with a real struggle of Evola leaving, there's just this ritual that can put them back together and all he has to do is kill 300 people. First of all, where the fuck did that come from? I don't fucking know. And how convenient! The dude fucking likes that! So what at the end? No struggle, just a boring male lead that is crazy. There was groundwork there, but it just got butchered. And finally, onto Evola, which is just a walking contradiction. From a young age, she's said to not be able to feel human emotions, was discriminated against, and such. But that is just BS, because as numerous times in her mind, she's having human emotions anyways. Frustration, anger, excitement. Oh my god, what a fucking lie. And you can't make the argument that she's pretending. There is no reason to pretend in her mind. She's a bit energetic it seems, and emotionless, but that's a lie, and her development is whatever. She said 𝐞 was locked away, but then she comes back, and when she can finally go home, which was her objective, her parents are told dead, and then she goes in a tangent where her internal goal was to be accepted by her parents and actually display and have emotions, which she has, by the way, but whatever. And then she says she doesn't care, so what the fuck was the purpose? Why did she lie to us? She even said her parents must be worried as hell or something, but no. She knew well they didn't care about her, but she was still trying to appeal to them, but then she doesn't care? What is the purpose of telling us this if it doesn't matter anyways? We could have skipped this whole section and it wouldn't have mattered at all. Her character just became more dumb if anything. It wasn't impactful at all, and she wasn't impacted by it, so thanks for the info I guess? I'll throw it in the trash if you don't mind though. And in general, there were no real marking moments to me. We do see she pretends to act good because morally that is what she observed from others, which is cool, but ultimately that amounts to nothing. She was sure of herself all the time, and even though she lied, well, she doesn't care, so what's the point? That she found someone like her? Since I'm talking about it, then are the relationships. We only have the main two because it's their story. It was okay, but they don't really learn anything from each other. They just find that they're similar and that they want to absolutely stay together, but they don't really change one another in any way since they're both kinda boring, and they just find company or something. The problem also comes when we make time skips that deliberately stops the viewers from actually seeing the relationship evolve. Like that one right after we discover Ezra's a tyrant, and the unfathomably disturbing 1 year one. It's just like, I came here for romance. Sure, the kissing is juicy, but I'm looking for real emotions here. Do they even ever have a real talk about how they're both emotionless? She doesn't even know. Like, it's just pretty disappointing. Evola also just doesn't care he's a psychopath. Like, I'm not getting it. Also, the whole prey-predator thing is so dumb. If she recognizes him as a prey, then why would she think the next second he's trapped there like her? He was eating a human, for God's sake! She just forgets everything, looking like fucking Dory. I mean, I won't go much further, but the relationship had good potential, but the inconsistencies and whatever she's doing for a whole year are just not it. Lastly, I'll touch on entertainment. The story has fun humor, I'll give you that. 𝐞's probably the funniest and the cutest to me, but then we have Ezra who's, you know, boring. And Evola just kind of frustrates me, but she has her moments too, which are funny. I really think the story dropped the ball in not following the principle of, you know, actually making Evola emotionless. I feel like many funny scenes could have happened that could have enhanced the enjoyment of the movie while simultaneously respecting the characters, but you know, we work with what we have. So I'll just say it's okay. Now, finally, on to suggestions. I'll be honest, there are quite the improvements to make. First of all, characterization. Make Evola actually fucking be emotionless, please. It was just a straight lie, to be honest. It didn't gradually make her feel emotions through Ezra. Or even the locking away of 𝐞, which I found okay, and actually make her notice she is feeling all of these and that she doesn't understand those or something. These are just suggestions, but you have got to respect what you've established your character to be and stick by it. But it's a good concept of a character, just gotta actually make it work. There isn't really the same problem with everyone else. Ezra could actually seem as emotionless apart from his psychotic fun killing part. I was ready to see where the story was gonna go with him, but you know, we We had whatever we had at the end, and the other characters, well, they were inconsequential, so who cares? I'm actually on a real note, to be honest. The side characters need to play some kind of role still. I've already made a tangent about Farina, but Carlos could have been like a mentor to Ezra, teaching him about what he's feeling instead of only being a comedic relief about it and as a whole. How much more useless can he be until he can even be used for a trash can? Now, the world building. I know it's really not that important since this is a romance story, but if we're making concepts, then why not simply play around them and make scenarios using them? Or like even the ritual things, like giants randomly pop up in the human world or something. Apocalypse. Evola begs Ezra to make his giants go away, but on the other hand, she must stay with him, and then we have development. I don't know, things like those that could still play into a romance story and actually have the world building be developed and used on, you know? It's an amazing tool that makes everything interesting. Then is the power system, which is more relative in a fantastic world, but still something that bothers me nonetheless here. I see it in every Gacha Club movie I could think of. Not one series actually takes the time to explain what the fuck they be doing. That ritual, where does it come from? How can Ezra transform into a tiny human? Is there magic in that world or something? What is the meaning of it all? Perfect, valid questions we get because 100% of the time, this just doesn't make any sense at all, and it's only for the convenience of the story. But make it a little complicated. It is not that hard to expand the world our characters live in. It could take you very far and makes everything 100 more interesting. But by not explaining anything that is happening, you just confuse your viewers and it just becomes unsatisfying to watch. You explain Q, even if at a bare minimum level, you could definitely go further with her and everything else. And finally, relationship. You really need to pass much more time developing the characters. Scenes between characters need to be impactful and have an actual meaning. Comedic relief is fine, but knowing more about a character and at the same time develop them with another should be first priority. You just can't have time skips of a whole year in the middle of the development of the main relationship. You can't pass dramatic situations with a time skip. Where are the reactions? It just takes away the build-up the story has been building up until now. Unsatisfying as a whole. Take this piece of advice however you want, you know? I'm no expert, but an undeniable fact is that I didn't feel much watching this, which is what a lot of movies lack in this community. Why almost no movie apart from the Music Freaks or the Element Protectors are not memorable? They're just shallow as fuck. That's a big problem that needs to be changed in this community. In conclusion, this story really just works if you turn your brain off. I'm guessing a lot of people enjoyed it even though most came for the juicy parts. You know, I don't judge, I get it, but I still hope there are some that came to watch a good piece of media, but unfortunately this one was just not very it. The MC was entertaining enough, but still wasted potential and overall no real development. Same for the male lead, and just the side characters were really just plot devices, which we hate, you know. Lots of concepts, just not used at all, and confusing parts of a lot of parts of the story. Pretty rough, which is why I'm inclined to give this Gacha Club movie a rating of 4.5 out of 10. You know, the story is entertaining, but we overall lack on a lot more departments of good storytelling, just not very impactful overall. There are the instances of good comedy and the pace is not that bad until the second part, so there's that. Which finally concludes my rant. I have no idea how much this took. I did like 7 pages of script, which is just crazy. But oh well, I like rambling. Well, I hope 𝐶𝐸𝐴𝐤 will look into this. She's pretty big in the storytelling part of the community, so I hope she'll notice this. Again, this is not to offend you. I hope you realize that. With this, my video ends. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and until we see each other again. Ciao!